Hey, Real Dealers, this is Charles Blair, the Mad Scientist. I'm with my man,
Tony Roberts.
and right now we're doing some driving for dollars. And I wanted to talk to you guys about one of my favorite owner-structured finance strategies, and it's called master leasing. For those of you who don't know what a master lease is, it's when a person puts a lease on a property, and that person would be, let's say myself as the buyer. I would put a lease on that property from the owner, and that lease will encompass everything with that property. For example, if the owner is trying to rent out a property, and let's say 6 months went by and he wasn't able to rent the property out, that's an ideal situation for a master lease. I would approach that owner and say, hey, if I promise to give you $1,000 a month for the next 2 years, regardless if your property is vacant or occupied, would you be interested? And then the owner 9 times out of 10 would say, okay, what's the catch? There is no catch. I'm looking to do a master lease on your property, and we will pay you $1,000 a month for 2 years to allow us to do this. Then 9 times out of 10, that owner is going to say yes. Well, what happens with us on our side of it, we'll take that actual master lease and then rent that property out for a higher dollar amount, or we'll change the best use for that property. Let's say that property would normally rent out for $1,200. Well, if you're giving a landlord $1,000 a month, property has to be in good condition. That's one stipulation. You're giving that landlord $1,000 a month. That means that you're only going to make $200 cash flow if you rent it out for $1,200. However, as a master lease, you can now take that property out and section it off into rooms. You can rent it out based on 4 rooms as opposed to 4 bedrooms. Now, if you're renting it out as rooms, now you can generate $1,800 to $2,400 a month. So now you got a total cash flow of $1,400 as opposed to the $200. So that's what we use the master lease for. We use it in a situation where we know that we can change a property highest and best use and get properties that is able to rent for a higher dollar amount based on changing the use of that property. Now, here's the key to the property. What makes a good opportunity for a master lease? Well, like I mentioned, someone who has a property that's in great condition. Remember, the property has to be in good condition. You don't want to have to do any repairs on a deal that you're going to do a master lease on. So the property that's in good condition, and then those properties that are in good condition, those are the ones that you're interested in, where the landlord has not been able to rent the property out. So it could be a situation where the landlord was trying to rent the property out and they don't have any experience. They could be an out-of-state landlord and they just don't have the time. And that property, for whatever reason, has sat on the market for 3, 6, 9 months. And now you're coming in looking to do a master lease situation on that deal. Now, where can you find these different opportunities? Well, a great location for master lease properties are Craigslist. Another good location is Facebook Marketplace. Another good location is the Penny Saver. You can also do meetup groups. Any place where landlords have properties that they're trying to sell. You heard me right. Either they're trying to sell or rent the property. So that's the key to this whole transaction. It doesn't just have to be somebody that's trying to look for a renter. It could be somebody that's looking to sell the property. The issue or the actual problem that we're trying to solve is the landlord have not been able to find a tenant for the property. So that's a great strategy. When you're master leasing, you can generate a lot of income on these type of deals. And here's the best part about it. You can get in with zero money out of pocket, because the way we structure our master lease transactions, we don't pay the actual landlord until 45 days after the lease has been signed with the landlord. The master lease is done. Now, what does that mean? That means you have 45 days to find an actual tenant for that property, collect the money from that tenant, move that tenant in, and then give the landlord money for their property and so on. So you're literally coming out of the deal with no money out of your pocket. So if you want to figure out how can you generate cash flow, how can you change your lifestyle to a point where now your actual cash flow from somebody else's property. That's what we call OPP, other people's property. It's not what you think it is. Don't think about that song right now. So we're talking about other people's property, real estate. That's what we're talking about in this type of transaction. Use other people's property to generate cash flow. You think about this. One property can generate $500, $600, $700 a month cash flow. What happens when you have 10 properties? Now you got $7,000 a month. Now your total lifestyle and the way you're living has changed. And that's, my friend, is what owner structured financing and understanding these type of techniques can do for you and your family. This is Charles Blair, the Mad Scientist, signing out, and I'll see you guys in the next Mad Marketing Minute video. Bye-bye.